I love to see the towns passing by and to ride these rails neath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause that's the life I believe He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, say God called home your rambling man.
Welcome to Ramblin' Man Podcast episode number 103. This one's with Brittany Hall, and we talk about curating luxury products. Or at least that's the best that I could come up with, and she approved it. It's a great conversation. It's interesting hearing her talk about sourcing and selling vegan-based products. It's a very interesting choice. I love hearing about her journey to getting there. If you'd like to learn more about Brittany and shop her products, you can go to shopdnf.com. Make sure to buy some of her vegan candles or any of her products, and then also give her a follow on Instagram and Twitter at shopdnf_. I appreciate her for being on. Sponsor this week is Feral Giant. Feral Giant is a graphic design, illustration, and social media consultation company based here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Though they do work for clients big and small all over the country, all over the globe, in fact. But they also do photography, videography, video editing, and audio editing, website design, SEO, writing, content development. Hell, they'll babysit your kids if it nets them money. So make sure you give them a follow on social media on either Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn at @FeralGiant. And be sure to give them an email today and hire them for your next project. Without much further ado, here's the episode. Yeah, there's no good entry point. The running joke for a while was me talking about Game of Thrones because I'd not seen Game of Thrones.
Have you since watched Game of Thrones?
No.
Okay. That's okay.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a big Arya Stark fan.
Okay. I didn't because I heard the last season was so bad. I was like,
yeah, the last episode really, which is almost worse, that the final episode was that poor. It just got too predictable for a show that was not predictable prior to that. So
that's hilarious. Okay.
yeah.
I will eventually. Although with Michael K. Williams just passing, I kind of want to rewatch The Wire.
It's getting cute tonight. I can't wait to rewatch it.
I watched an hour of Best of Omar on YouTube. Just like, damn it.
I feel like I need to go back and rewatch Boardwalk Empire now. Because he's chalky in that, if you've seen it.
So it's funny. I'm not going to ask the age difference, but I am older than I look, and I pick on Hannah all the time. I'll make a reference. She'll be like, I don't know what you're talking. I was like, so, and I am a big movie nerd, but I have not seen Boardwalk Empire, not seen The Sopranos. And I only watched The Wire like 6 years ago, finally.
Okay, that's fine with The Wire, but you need to go back and watch the others. The Sopranos, yes, please. Boardwalk Empire is so great. I will say, though, it starts kind of slow. It's one of those shows you just have to stick with, and then it gets really, really good.
That's why I didn't. I love Scorsese, but I watched like the first 3 episodes. I was like, I love everybody in this, everybody involved, but this is just not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't like pull you in.
Okay.
But it's good. It's worth.
It's wild because especially during the pandemic, I have watched the dumbest films and TV shows humanly possible. Like, and I got made fun of by my cousin-in-law because I watched Dave Bautista's. He had 2 movies. What was it called? Stuber.
Okay.
with him and shoot, now I can't pull his name. That the guy was an Uber driver, and then was it Stuber? I think that was it.
Not seen that one.
Okay, and My Spy, where it's him and a little girl. A little girl blackmails him into training her how to be a CIA agent.
Oh,
They're not good movies, but during the pandemic, I was like, these are brilliant. These are great.
Yeah, I feel like anything that just, throws you out of the norm, sometimes you're like, oh, I love this. And then if you go back, you're like, what was wrong with me?
Yeah. Yeah. On the flip side, I said that to say this about the HBO. I watched Chernobyl.
Yes, it was good.
It was good, but I needed to watch something stupid afterwards because I was like, I can't breathe. This hurts.
It was a lot going on.
That and Dark. There's a series on Netflix called Dark that's a German series.
Okay. I have not seen that. I'll have to check that out.
It is, I don't know how to describe it. It has one of the greatest endings ever, but it is a tough slog.
Okay.
The short of it is a group of high school kids. I'm going to spoil a little bit, but I think this is like episode 2 or 3. And they go into the woods and one of the kids disappears and they can't find him. And it gets sci-fi after that.
Okay.
And it's great, but it's also so depressing and so dark and so heavy.
Okay.
That I was, oh God, I didn't even mean that. Oh God. Good catch. But it's pretty brutal. It's, I'm trying to think of what stupid movie I had to watch afterwards. Like I call those palate cleansers.
Yes. Something to just completely lighten you up.
Right.
Clear all the feelings out. Yes.
There's this couple I'm friends with. We watched Breaking Bad together and Mad Men together when they were actually on. And at the end of every one, we would watch the Man of Steel trailer because it was so hopeful.
Oh.
And we would just be like, oh God, that feels so much better. Oh God.
Sometimes it's needed. I feel like that's going to be me after rewatching The Wire because he was just so brilliant in it.
Right.
I mean, but all around, the man was in everything that I love, like Community. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah.
Community. I still have not finished Lovecraft Country, but I need to finish it so I can see his scene because everyone's raving about his acting in that. And I watched one of the interviews after the fact where he talked about the emotional toll it took on him and just not being ready for it, but being so received and supported by his castmates. I'm like, okay, I need to finish this.
Oh my God. I have not seen that. I'm not a big horror fan and I've worried about the gore. I'm not a big gore person. I'm a pansy.
It's like a bit more suspenseful, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's gory. So I don't know if you've watched Watchmen.
Yes.
It gives me Watchmen vibes, but it's a bit more sci-fi.
Okay.
Watchmen, gosh, was heavy, but so brilliantly done. So
Watchmen was when I waited till it was over and watched it in one day. Yeah. And I was like, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. This is too much, man. This is too much.
And I went back and rewatched that, and I know I still miss things. There's so many moving parts.
There was another thing he was great in. There was a mini series called The Night Of on HBO. Okay. Apparently, HBO is the unofficial sponsor of this episode. I didn't realize that.
There we go.
I better be getting paid. But yeah, The Night Of, it was, do you remember the podcast Serial about the young man? So it was kind of a take on that.
Okay.
About a young man who they think killed a girl, and then it shows that kind of happened. It's only like six or 8 episodes. John Turturro, Rez Ahmed, Michael K. Williams is in. Spoiler alert: the kid ends up going to jail. Okay. He's in the jail. Everybody in it, and it's fantastic. And Michael K. Williams is ridiculous in it. Of course he is.
Of course he is. That's a loss, but. Such talent, such brilliance.
And fun fact, not to make it about me, for my business page, I post a Motivation Monday every Monday. He screen grabbed it and posted it in his Instagram feed.
Oh, I love that.
and wrote like a nice note about it. I was just like, holy shit,
That's
that just
amazing.
happened. What
Yeah.
happened?
Oh, that's huge. I love that.
Uh,
Certainly got his flowers.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. So, there we go.
Oh my God. Okay. So we are 18 minutes. Oh, this is still easy. The episode that I just posted was with Chris Battle of Battlefield Farms here in Knoxville. That
Okay.
he is a farmer. He's a black man from Cincinnati. He is trying to fight like food deserts. Do you know what food deserts are?
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't know that what that was until I interviewed somebody from the farmers market here on the podcast.
Cool.
And the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we talked about race. And then we talked about farming. And I was like, no, that's awesome. That's great. It was funny. The funniest thing to me was, so I'm a white dude who grew up on the black side of town, usually being the only white guy. And he was like, yeah, when I went to college, they called me white boy. I was like, wait, you got called white boy before I got called white boy. That's funny. It's like, because I could not be whiter than white. I'm the biggest, goofiest idiot. Like, but yeah, it's funny how this goes, and we do not stay on topic. But I do have questions. I am more prepared for this interview, and thank God. Are you originally from Cleveland?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up on the east side. In Cleveland, the east and west side are worlds apart. And left for college. I went to Xavier in Cincinnati. So that's funny. We just segued to Cincinnati. I moved to Florida a little bit after college, and then I ended up coming back to Cleveland in 2014. And I've lived. So it's home, and it's home again. Yeah.
Which part of Florida did you end up in?
I was in Boynton Beach. So a little bit north of West Palm Beach, like 15 minutes north.
Oh, okay. So, that's better.
South Florida.
Florida's a mess because I have to think about it. I was like, okay, wait, where are things at? I've got friends in, the thing I tell her, I got friends in St. Augustine, and St. Augustine is awesome because it doesn't get too hot. It's right there on the ocean, and it's a very
wild.
Although it is funny, the first time I went, seeing it change from being like a tourist town during the day to a college town at night. Because there was a bar we go to, we joke that we are the non-douchey cigar smokers. Like we smoke to relax and for community. And we're sitting there and literally watching like old dudes leave. And then young people come in and get, all of a sudden it got louder and louder. And I was like, all right, we can go.
There it is. Yep.
Like I feel weird being around all these kiddos. But yeah, okay. So originally from Cleveland and came back. So when you came back during this time, like, so what you do is kind of, I called it, let me see what I called it. Luxury products, curating luxury products.
Yes.
Does that sound good?
I love it. That's it.
Okay. So is that something you've always been into, or is that something that you're like, oh, wait, I like that? Like, how did that come about?
I'm certainly a person that's like, very into certain products and aesthetics and vibes. As far as the creating piece of it, that is more recent. I founded DNF in 2020. Okay. So this company is a baby. Right
in the middle of the pandemic.
Right. Pandemic company. Love it.
Oh, God.
But it is me through and through. I do all the work. I do the website, everything. Yeah. I do it all. So I do like that aspect of it. But it really also allows me to create products that I like and that I want to share with people.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I started it. And that was kind of like the guiding intention and motivation. Because sometimes people are just like, oh, I like this, how'd you put this together? Or how'd you do that? And I'm like, I should just start creating, like, versus having an eye for things and being able to just select and curate. Like, I need to also create. So,
okay. So, say that one. Sorry.
So I said for me, DNF was about really finding balance between the two versus just like spending and pouring into other products. It was like, okay, what can I actually create myself and then also share?
Right. And not have, I don't mean this to sound awful, but also being able to drive your own ship. You don't have to worry about others and rely on others. You can just plow forward.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So do you remember, like, even as a child, like the first thing that you bought or received that made you kind of take notice and, kind of hit the hairs on the back of your neck stand up?
Oh man. I feel like my family, like our household was always into gift giving. Like my parents would always, of course, give us gifts for like holidays, but like most holidays, I'm talking like, it's Valentine's Day, here's your little gift. It's Sweetest Day, here's your gift. Oh, happy this holiday. Like we always got little gifts.
It's Arbor Day.
Right. Right. And my sister is very much so like the holiday person. Like she's giving cards for every little sentimental reason, which is cool.
Yeah.
But the first thing I bought, man, it would have to be some sort of CD, some sort of music.
Okay.
That was also a common gift from my mom. Like I don't know if you remember, I think it was called like BMG. It was subscription.
Oh yeah. Oh,
order her subscriptions, I could pick out a CD.
Nice.
So I think I remember, I want to say I bought a Sade CD, to be honest. Nice. It's one of like my first actual purchases. Lovers Rock. I still
Although that treads a line of like, wait, was that yours, or your mom was like, I think you would like Sade. It
was me. I got Sade CD. I got like this translucent blue Sony Walkman CD player, which was a big deal.
Wow.
So yeah, that's one of the first things I remember. But I feel like we always spend our money on things. Like if I wanted like a purse and I had enough money for it, I would buy it.
Okay.
They didn't really make us spend our money on a lot of things. So it was definitely like things I wanted.
Okay. And so back then, you talked about your sister, like, were you one too, to where you're like, I really like pay attention to what people want and give them a gift of something? Like, has that always been a thing for you?
Yeah, I'm definitely like the thoughtful and intentional gift giver.
Right.
So as much as I enjoy my luxury, it doesn't always have to be that if, there's some sort of sentiment or meaning behind it. So one of our things usually is like finding some sort of art to connect to or relate to. And we may not actually buy like the physical art, but we may buy a card with an image of it. Or I went to Pittsburgh recently and got her these Teeny Harris magnets, and they were just like still photos, from his portfolio.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so like that was a small gift, but it was like a very intentional, meaningful gift. So yeah, so I'm that person. It's going to connect to something, no matter how big or small it is.
Are you a pre-buyer too? Are you I have stuff that I've bought for my dad that, what is it, September? He just had a birthday. I've still got Christmas presents in there for him. Like,
oh, wow.
When I see something, I'm like, I got to get it. I got to get it, or I'll never come back to it.
Yes. Yeah. Every now and then, if there's something like that I know is not going to be there, or that in that moment, I'm like, I got to get this thing, I'll hang on to it and then get it.
Okay. Yeah. There's a buddy of mine, another cigar smoker, that he had a cutter that had like a perfect divot in it to where you could rest your cigar on it. And apparently they don't make it anymore. He accidentally it was on his body when he was going to the airport. And they literally picked it out and threw it in the garbage.
Oh no.
And it was like a $50 cutter. And he was like, had I known, I would have put it in my checked bag. But he was so bummed out and pissed about that. And as he's telling me, I'm literally sitting there like this. Note. So I couldn't find it. I spent hours looking for that thing. Couldn't find it. But I found a butane lighter that had a curve in it to where you could say, and I bought that thing for him and had it for him for like 6 or 8 months.
There you go.
Almost forgot that I got it for him.
I was gonna say, did he receive it?
Yeah. And I finally gave it to him. And this has been like 3 years. And he still is like, I still can't believe you got that thing. Well, I was like, well, you needed it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was just like, still, I was like, well, you need it. You said, I take notes, man. I'm not stupid. Like Absolutely. Right now he is really big into fountain pens, and he's
Okay.
trying to get me into fountain pens. So now, because I know he won't listen to this, I've found this like leather case that you can store all your fountain pens in, and it rolls up.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, I don't know how luxury that is, but it's
luxury because like luxury, I think, and this is part of like me wanting to kind of rethink and create a new label for luxury. Like luxury doesn't mean,
right.
A specific amount of dollars. It certainly is about the experience. It's about the memory. It's about the associations. And it's about, how you feel using that thing or, experiencing that product. So that is luxury.
Okay.
Brings out the feels. If it brings you joy, if it brings you happiness, it is luxury.
well, like I said, I'm a pretty nerdy, goofy dude. So like I saw like an Amazon daily deal. Sorry, I mentioned the A word. But their daily deal was like this cool leather bag that was like a big one for travel. I was like, that would make me feel cool or good.
Yeah.
So I should get that. And I was like, no, not right now. I don't need it. I'm not going anywhere. Where am I going? I was like, but that's good to remember that like dopamine rush that hit.
Absolutely.
So, go ahead. Sorry. I stepped on you again. What did you say?
No, get the bag. Get
the bag. So same friend with the cigars. I just hit working for myself for 5 years.
There we go.
Thank you. And he said every year on your anniversary, you need to make note of it and you need to get yourself a gift. So every year on my anniversary, minus 2020, I was like, I don't deserve anything. This is brutal.
You do deserve things. It was a cloudy year for sure, but you still deserve things. You still deserve good things.
I made up for it this year because the first year I didn't do it every year, but the first year I did it, I got this Andre the Giant hoodie that is like biggest man in Tokyo. I like that.
There you go.
The next year I got a Blue Jays cap because our minor league team here used to be the KJs.
Okay.
And the cap actually looks like the old KJ's cap. And then I didn't do anything last year. And then this year I drove to West Memphis, Arkansas to get my favorite donuts in the world from Knoxville to West Memphis, which is
how far of a drive is that?
It's between 6 and 8 hours.
Okay. But it's like enjoy. You get a trip out of it.
I stayed in a hotel. I didn't kill myself. I was like, I'm too old to drive all the way there and all the way. I ain't doing
drive back. After eating sugary donuts, yes.
And it was kind of funny because I went and I hadn't been to this place in years. And I walk in and it turns out the owner passed away last year. His wife took over. She doesn't like donuts. There was a cop in there that kept crapping on the place the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't sit in there because it's COVID and the mask and everything. I was like, this is not going to be as good. I'm so disappointed. I was like, I got my dozen. I got 2 big apple fritters that were as big as my head.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to go find a park. I tried to find a park, couldn't find a park. It was 96 and 100% humidity. It's like everything is just setting up for failure. And I don't know how much you know about Memphis, but the Pyramid where the Grizzlies used to play is now Bass Pro Shop.
Wow.
So
I did not know that.
I went and sat in their parking lot because it was big. Nobody'd bug me. And the interstate was overhead. So I'd have shade. And I ate the first bite of the donut. I was like, this is even better than I remember.
Oh, good. Yay.
I ate 5 donuts and half of an apple fritter.
I love it.
So you're saying all sugared up. I was like, oh, yeah. I ate all of it. I tried not to eat the whole dozen right there. I was like, this is heaven. Okay. I got to do this every 5 years. I got to keep it to 5 years. I can't go every year, but every 5 years.
Real.
So now, if you know your start date, you got to get yourself something nice.
You're right.
And it can't.
I'm that person that's always like, okay, you treat yourself too often. Don't do it. And then I'm like, forget it. No, I'm doing it. And I don't care what it looks like. Some nights I'm treating myself with chicken wings. And other nights I'm treating myself with a nice bottle of wine. And then
there you go.
It goes from there. So yes, I sure will.
Yeah. And the way I think about it is it has to be, except for this year, because this year is different, but it has to be something I can look at and go, that's why I do this. Like whenever I see that sweat hoodie or that baseball cap, I was like, there we go. That's why I do this.
Yeah.
So let's go all the way. What did your folks do for a living?
So my mom is a pediatric RN. So shout out
Kids.
to her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God bless her during this last year and a half. Good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a nurse for life for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my dad is in the restaurant industry. So he does some consulting and helps out with like private dining establishments. He'll train staff, help design menus, all the fun stuff. So complete opposites, right?
No, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool. It definitely gave different dynamics. So
with what you're doing now, like, was there did they let you said you have how many siblings do you have?
Just one.
Just one.
Yep.
Did they let you all kind of find your own path, or were they kind of like, have a safety net?
Yeah. So they definitely let us find our own path. For high school, it was like pick a high school. And then my sister ended up at the same high school with me. And then she also ended up in Cincinnati. She went to UC and I was at Xavier.
Oh my God.
So that happened by choice.
Okay.
They definitely always let us choose our own paths. So
Okay.
I was always the one who was like closest with my mom as far as career interest and like being interested in medicine and healthcare. However, she always told me to not go into nursing because I think it was really when the trend of like going into nursing for money really started. And she's like, if this is what you were interested in, okay. But if it's, just to have something secure and for money, don't do it. So I was like, all right, mom, like maybe I'll revisit this. Cool.
Oh my God.
So I ended up majoring in psych, and full-time I still do behavioral consulting. So not quite nursing, but close enough.
Still.
Close enough for me.
Good Lord. What does your sister do?
She actually works in business. She does advertising and marketing.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
This is like a murderer's row of a family. Good Lord.
It is. Everybody does something way different. I will say it's interesting. Like some of our things come up, and end up aligning at some points.
Right.
My sister is really, really strong with like social media and PR and just, writing proposals and all those good things. So every now and then I'm like, hey, can you put eyes on this? And she's like, oh, it looks great. And I'm like, I don't do this. I need you to help me. I'm not strong with these things. Yeah. So she's the talent in that area. I think I do okay enough to get by, but we all definitely have different strengths and skills. So that is kind of cool, but we are all definitely at opposite ends. Yeah.
So now I have to ask, does your dad know the places to go to and to avoid when it comes to restaurants? He's like, don't go there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm talking like I would say we dined out at least once or twice a week, always. Like growing up. I remember like school nights and it was like, oh, we're going to drive to Columbus for dinner and then we'll come back. Like, who does this?
Oh my God.
Person, it's always like this new place is opening. We got to try this, or, this friend invited us to come here. We're going, which was really cool. It gave us a lot of, it gave us a lot of restaurants to go to and memories and just, which sounds strange, but it's one of my favorite things to do.
That's amazing.
So,
I almost want to mention my favorite restaurant, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get the thumbs down from you.
What is it?
It is Melt in Lakewood.
Melt. Okay. Melt is good.
Okay, thank God.
It's
a lot of food.
It's a lot of food. It's a lot of heavy ingredients.
I am 6'7", 285 pounds. I put away some food. I ordered dessert. I ordered dessert there. Like it's always I used to go to a conference every year there. I used to go to a conference every year, and it was always the night before I got in the car and drove home.
Oh, that's funny.
That's where I went to Melt. My friends.
It's been a while, but it is good. I will say that.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Yes.
It is. the food is ridiculous, and I love that it's ridiculous. And it started the night of, there was one night in Cleveland where I think I drank 24 Russian Imperial Stouts that are 13.6, 13.8%.
You deserve to eat mouth then. Okay.
Yeah. But the screwy part, I was completely sober the whole
Wow.
time. Like I can drink a bottle of Jack Daniels and it not affect me. I know people say that, but I have friends. I was like, I have proof. Like I have proof. But
Yeah,
when you eat melt, it's just like, yeah, it just soaks everything up.
everything.
But
It's
then
your-
I thought about how many calories that was. 25 beers, stout beers, melt. That was not smart. That was
what
not
a
smart.
night. What a night, Jody.
Yeah, that's what some people say. Some people say that's when you need to stop. You need to stop.
You know, you like it, I love it. As the saying goes, it is what it is. We've all had our nights. Not it is. So
Well, I have been drunk less than 5 times and I've drank a crap load out. And it's so funny because my friends are like, this is not fair. It's like, yeah, it is. It's fine. You're fine. You'll be
Yeah.
okay.
yes. No, I wish I could count the number of times. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be fair to even try to count the number of times.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's see. In that, so you went to, you said Xavier,
Mm-hmm.
and you was the shoot. And I don't want to get the name wrong. It's not psycho. You said psychology. So
Yes. Yep.
Psychology.
Psychology. Yeah.
okay. Just thinking of melt, my brain is just
Threw your
dreaming.
psyche off.
Yeah, it's dripped in cheese right now. I'm
Yes.
always thinking about that.
That's so funny.
So what was school always something that was kind of easy to you, or was it?
Yes and no. I was definitely like that kiddo that loved school. And then I would say when it got to like high school, when it came to trigonometry, I was like, all right, this is no longer fun. There were other subjects that were fun, but that was not one of them for me.
You're like, okay, I'm done.
I was like, shit, now I got to study. Now I got to actually do things. Oh, I don't know about this anymore. It's not on my terms anymore. But school, it wasn't necessarily easy, but
Right.
I found an interest in most subjects, to be honest, other than math.
Okay.
So that made it easier and more enjoyable. College, though, I'll be honest, like I wish online was a big thing back then because I'm that person that just loves flexibility. So I hated just having to go to certain classes, and Xavier was so small. So it wasn't like, or I can just miss this and miss that. Like,
Right.
I hated that shit, to be honest. I did, but I enjoyed college overall. So,
Right. It was wild. Like growing up, missing a day was not,
oh man,
that was not a thing. And so when I went to college, I think like first year and a half, I just went every day.
yeah.
It wasn't even a thought. And then one day a buddy was like, hey, let's go drink beer. And I was like, I'm 19 and I don't think that can happen. And he was like, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. You'll be fine. And I was like, but we have class. And he was like, yeah, we can miss. It's graphic design too. You're good. Let's go. So we skipped class, went to a bar and drank crappy beer. And I was like, oh wait, you can do this? I didn't know this was a thing.
Not that we're telling, the kids to skip class, but
take a day.
they love
Take a
it.
day.
Everybody deserves a day.
God, I last Friday I met a friend for lunch, and another friend unfortunately his business shut down during COVID, his restaurant. So he restarted it as a food truck.
Oh, I love it. There you go.
And so he just started back up, and I went and met with another friend, and we got food, and we sat on the steps of a church downtown and ate our sandwiches.
I was going to say, what kind of food?
Sandwiches, but like really high end, like Italian sandwiches and stuff.
Okay. Love it.
And we sat there. It was a beautiful day. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. And it just felt amazing. I was like, this is it. This is what we all dream of.
Gotta reset and reconnect, literally. And it can be simple. It can be that simple.
Yep. And then another friend just happened to walk by, And he was like, "Oh, I'll go get a sandwich. I'll be back here in a minute." And he just joined us. It's like,
welcome to the party.
this is the life. This is the life right here. I'm not stuck in an office. I'm getting to do this. This is amazing. It was so good. But
yeah. And that's definitely one of the things that I think, I can't say I found balance with. Like I'm constantly trying to find balance with that. Because I certainly enjoy what I do full time, but it's so different when you're pouring into your thing.
Right.
And it's different being on your terms and on your time, like you said earlier. So
right.
I'm getting there slowly but surely.
Okay. Well, that's the funny thing is you will have 100-hour weeks of just working for yourself. So when it's a lazy Friday afternoon and you're just hanging out with friends, eating lunch, like, no, this is fine.
Yes.
I worked a lot last week. I'll work a lot next week. I looked at my work list for this week. I was like, oh, it's a holiday? Didn't know. I'm going to be working all 3 days.
I gotta eat. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm at a point. So I do design, illustration, social media, but I also do like website design, podcasting, producing, videography. If it's digital or creative, I do it. But
I love that. Okay.
So it's like I've got 2 websites. I'm like, can we just please be done with these? And a brochure design. And then I just did a band poster for an album release show.
Oh, very cool.
And all of them, I was just like, can I be done with these so I can get them off my list, please? So I can do the other 8 things that are on my damn.
Yeah.
Please.
But you get to control what that looks like.
Yes. Yes.
If it's working 2 to 2 and then just crashing for the next day.
Yep.
What it is.
Yeah. The other night I stayed up till like 3 a.m. I was like, no, I'm powering through. I'm too close. I gotta get this done. I'm just tired of looking at it. But then like it was Saturday and I was like, I'm going to just lay and watch a movie because this is dumb. I need a rest. But
you deserve a rest.
Yeah. Knock on wood. So one of the things I noticed with your brand, the ethical products and the vegan candles. So are you vegan?
I am not.
Okay.
I am not. Look at me saying that with joy. I am not a vegan. I admire vegans.
You mean cut that part out? Be like, I wish.
Shout out to the vegans. I wish. You are disciplined people. No, for me, to be honest, I switch it up when I can. I'm by no means vegan. My sister is pescatarian and has lived the vegan life before.
Wow.
And she kind of just started it out of lifestyle changes, which is really cool. But for me, the biggest push with like the ethical and sustainable and eco-friendly products is just because like people, I feel like sometimes we get so caught up in what we consume, like what we're eating, what we're putting into our bodies, but we're not thinking about the other ways in which we do that, right?
Right.
You're coming home and you're lighting incense and you're burning candles. But if it's not of quality, you're just putting toxins in your environment. So we run from, we run from toxic people, we run from the smog outside, and then we come in and we also create issues with those things. So the focal point with the candles for me was really about clean wax. I use coconut-based wax. It has no toxins. It's damn near soot-free. The wicks are wooden wicks and they crackle, so it gives you nice little cozy vibes, but it's eco-friendly as well. So I think for me, it was really about just like making that real for people and like reminding people like, hey, it's not just about the food that you ingest. It's about everything else that you do. It's about what you're rubbing into your skin. It's about what you're putting onto your body and what you're putting around your body too. So like the candles from like Walmart, what is in them? Like what is paraffin wax, that's the old school candle maker's wax, but it's also the cheapest. Okay. So a lot of large scale candle manufacturers do still use paraffin. Okay. Don't use like great paraffin, which is a bit safer. And it has less toxins in it, but it's just straight up paraffin. Like I'm talking like, remember they used to do like the hand treatments? Yeah. Paraffin, which is all bad. Like, oh God. All bad. We got fumes, we got shit on our skin. Like, no thanks. Oh, so God. Yeah. So Most of those candle companies use paraffin, and they also use fragrance that is not sustainable. So those, they're synthetic. They have tons of chemicals and dyes, and just no regard for, the health implications.
Right.
So when you see things like parabens and phthalates, like those are toxic chemicals, a lot of which can either cause like different irritations, allergies, cancer. So coconut wax is naturally derived, which is beautiful. And it honestly is so easy to work with.
Okay.
It really is. It burns cleanly. It's damn near scentless. And the fragrances that I use are also natural fragrances too.
Are you trying to say that bacon smell in the man candles is not natural at all?
Natural. It can be, should someone drip some bacon, essence of bacon into it.
What kind of good Southern man would I be? I've got like 3 mason jars of bacon grease in my fridge right now. I can just, what'd you say, put a wooden wick in there and light it up.
Boom, there you go.
And then I can reuse it when it's done because it won't evaporate.
Because it hardens itself. You got it. Yeah, you can do it.
Now the flies and all that, that's just a bonus.
That's just nature.
Yeah. Okay. So coconut is your base for all of it or for most of it?
For all of it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It really honestly is one of the best plant-based waxes.
Okay.
It is. So coconut wax is super popular, and the newer thing is apricot cream wax.
Okay.
So they end up using like the oils. I've seen blends of the apricot and the coconut. Kind of depends.
Okay.
It's a little bit pricier though, and beeswax is a beautiful alternative too.
Okay.
Man, that was tricky. That's a tough wax.
This is all so complicated. I'm used to just buying big things of candles at Walmart.
Right, you should just buy the biggest, most pungent candle.
Well, I always joke. I was like, I'm a single dude. I'm like, I'm just trying to tamp down the man smell in this house. Yeah. So I'm gonna get the vanilla. It smells good.
Yeah.
It's unexpected. You walk into a single dude's house, you're not expecting. Oh, it smells good in here. I was like, yeah. It smells great.
Yeah. I can get you, we got little Haven scent that has some vanilla notes to it. Nice little peach and bergamot snuck in there too.
This is so fancy. This turned so fancy so quick.
But look, it can be simple looks, right?
I know. I gotta upgrade. Well, you can see the beard. Like I finally started putting beard oil in the last few years, and it's a game changer. Like it's
flourishing.
Yeah. And it's wild in that I didn't do it during the pandemic because I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I was like, no, dummy, you should put it in there. Yeah. It helps.
See, look, that's a lesson, Jody. People got to realize like self-care. It's about self. It's not about everybody else, right? So you got to do things that make you look and feel good no matter who's seeing you.
I'm just laughing because I grew up around my dad and my uncles and my grandfather. Self-care was, hey, why don't you go mow the yard? Sweat it out. That'll make you feel so much better. Just sweat it out. Yeah. Oh my God. So with like sustainability is a big point for you.
It is.
So I'm trying to think how to put it. Was that something you've kind of came to, like being like more eco-conscious, or is it something that's always kind of been part of your life?
It's definitely something I've come to, which there's shades of it, right? Like I don't live the most carbon neutral life. Right. I think that we all can do different things to contribute to being better about it. But I'm not one of those people that's unrealistic. Like you got to cut this, and this. Like, right. I get it. My car is not the most carbon neutral car. It has a little eco-friendly mode in it. I drive in that most of the time. Nice. I do what I can. But honestly, like living in the city, because I live in our downtown. So like living in the city, I'm also like, shit, there's a lot of trash. There's a lot of waste. Cleveland recently had some issues with recycling and not actually recycling the city's waste. And I'm like, damn, we got to do better.
So we had that where used to be you could pay, I think it was like $25 a year or something to get a recycling bin. And you could earn like Walmart gift cards, all kinds of stuff for it. And then I had that for like a year, and then it became part of the city's program. I was like, well, crap. I was looking forward to earning some stuff for just doing this, what I did already. And then it came out that the city for like 6 months was just throwing away glass instead
in the landfills. Yep.
And I was like, if you would have see, I am OCD about recycling. Like I will, when I travel, like when I drive to Cleveland, I'll literally have bags with me to throw water bottles and Coke bottles or anything in, because it, no matter where you go, recycling is not publicly easy to do.
It's not.
And you saying that about being downtown Cleveland. So when I first started going there, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, good Lord, this chair is killing me.
Oh,
and because if I hit it just the wrong way, it just goes straight down. But when I first went up there, it was hilarious in that I stayed downtown. I tried to go out and get food, and I couldn't get. I ended up in some bar because it was a Friday night, and I walked by into one restaurant. They're like, "It's 6 o'clock. We're closing." I was like, "I'm from Knoxville, a much smaller city. What is happening?"
We've come a long way.
I was like, I can get food at 3 a.m. in Knoxville. Hell, I can get food at 5 a.m. if I want to in Knoxville. I was like, what are you talking about? 6 o'clock on a Friday. Yeah, that's when it's going, man. This is crazy.
And at that point, no one was really in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like downtown one's definitely come back a lot, but you couldn't pay people to come to downtown for the longest.
Well, when I was looking for food, there was one homeless guy downtown, and he was walking towards me. I was like, hey, man, where can I get food? And he was like, oh, there's a bar. If you go 1 block up and 1 block over, it's right there. I was like, cool. Here's your $5. Thank you. You just earned this for telling me where to get. And he was the only guy I ran into. Even when I went into the bar, it was the bartender and me. I was like, what is wrong with your city, man? Like, what is happening? But yeah, then and going back, it's like crazy to see how big it is, how much that's nuts. That's nuts.
It is. And it's still pretty small and definitely slower to develop than some other cities.
Right.
But it's certainly come a long way.
Well, yeah, and it's
better with our sustainability here too, because good Lord, Cleveland.
Yeah, it was wild. Like anytime I go from downtown out Lakewood, I can't remember the name of that road, but man, there was like good 20 minutes of it that is just like, I think I'm the only one here. Like it just so desolate. I was like, this is crazy.
Where did you get on? Like Detroit or Marginal?
Detroit.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was just like, there are empty warehouses. I'm the only one out here, man. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And, but it was fun. It was fun. Melt was the light at the end of the tunnel. I could get to.
You knew you were when you made it to Melt.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. So sustainability is something that Cleveland is working on now that they got caught, or?
Yeah, we're working on it. And I think it is cool to see like a lot of the newer construction, there's the focus for like being green. And yes, there's money associated with that.
Oh, yeah.
It should be. But at least there is a little bit more focus on that. But Cleveland's also an old city. So we have a lot of old issues when it comes to like lead and especially than just structural issues. So I think some of those things are finally getting attention.
Yeah.
For a while, it was just kind of like, let things sit and rot. And people not really realizing like that is a worse issue.
Right. Yeah, it's wild here because there's like an old rural high school that has been sitting there so it got closed in the spring of 1991. That was the last time a kid went through that school.
Wow.
And like 6 years ago, the city got like 10 different developers in town. They went and toured it, and every single one of them was like, tear it all down. There's so much like bad stuff in here between lead and asbestos. And then there was a black college here, Knoxville College. It's up on the hill, gorgeous, beautiful views of downtown, like great. And I was talking to a guy who does environmental engineering, and I was like, man, I wish I wish it would come back and they would. And he was like, it would cost them $7 to $20 million
Wow.
just to remove the asbestos and
Ooh.
fix it. And that's not even counting like rebuilding.
Right. Or any maintenance or anything outside of that. Wow.
It's nuts.
It is.
So I've had this crazy idea. I on Friday night, I'm interviewing I guess he's not a veteran. I guess he's still in the reserves,
Okay.
but I have not had somebody from the armed services on. And I had a thought like 15 years ago. I was like, I would like for us to bring back like half of the troops and just invest in like infrastructure, and in places like Cleveland or Pittsburgh, have those soldiers go in and fix up like those old warehouses and bring manufacturing. Because think about like what you do could easily be done, but it costs so much on the front end.
Absolutely.
To fix everything up. I'm like, why are we not doing that's what we should be investing in?
Yeah.
Made in America stuff. Like
literally. And you think about just like the popularity of like co-working spaces and office, like businesses would kill for that, you know. You could make it look so different. There could be incentives. So there's definitely some work to be done.
Or kids art programs. Go into places that are rough, like so.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fix it. I just don't. Yeah. I don't understand. So I'm curious to see
good things that don't always equate and gain. That's what it is.
Well, I think it's how do we figure out for people to make money off of that?
Yep.
Once you figure that out, then that's the key that unlocks the door of just like.
We're like, oh, it sounds great. It sounds great. But until there's gain, they shelve it.
Here, I'm gonna give you. Well, you were in Florida, but Florida is weird in that it's the South, but not the South. But it totally feels like the bless your heart thing. Like, oh, that's adorable. Bless your heart, honey. Like, you go do that. You go see if you can. If you can make that happen, honey. Yeah.
Right.
But,
you're in the thing.
Like we're both doing the hands. Yeah, it's the hand thing.
That's how it is.
That's how it is. So for you, since you're still on the early end, do you like set? Well, I'm sure the answer is going to be yes, but like goals or a checklist, like here's what I would want next year. Here's what I want in 5 years. Here's what I want in 10 years.
Yeah. So I'm kind of that like strange planner that like when I conceptualized DNF, I thought about every way in which I wanted the company to roll out. Different things that I wanted to hit, different types of products I want to introduce. And then as I go, I start to fill in like the details and the specifics of what that looks like. So it's been kind of cool. Within this last year, you know, I've really hit like those initial things that I wanted to do. And I'm like, all right, now it's time to branch and dive into these different things.
Okay.
So yes, there are definitely things that I'm like, okay, this week you got to circle back to this. You got to at least plan it. You got to figure out, you know, what pieces you need for these different things. But some of it has been kind of cool and kind of happened naturally too, like through private orders with friends. And I just signed my first wedding contract. So I'm doing candles as a wedding favor for a friend.
That's awesome.
And that's something that I was definitely like, okay, I want to get into this market, but it kind of naturally happened too, based on a friend being like, hey, I need this thing done. Can you do it for me?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you. There's definitely a checklist and a whole plan to fill in. But the beauty is some of it is like, you know, all right, I'm gonna sit down and hammer this out. And then some of it is just kind of happening as the business grows.
Yeah. Yeah. Has there been stuff already that came up that you're like, oh, I didn't know I wanted to do that, but this could be cool or fun?
Yes. So I'm kind of shooting off into an extension of DNF with a new label, Tenfold. And that will be like small curated collections of clothing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I'm not like, we all are into fast fashion at our times, but I'm not like a big fast fashion person.
I don't even know what that means. What does fashion?
You know, the trendy things like Fashion Nova and all that stuff, like quick order.
Look at me. No, not at all. What fits? That's all I care about. What fits and what will I not sweat in?
Yeah, but I'm that person that holds on to things for years.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I'll whip out a skirt that I've had for 7 years and haven't worn in a while. And people are like, oh my God, where did you get it? And I'm like, I'm sure it's not in stock. Like it is long gone. But I'm really big into like those staple pieces that you can always circle back to. So tenfold kind of wasn't originally in the plan, but just, through building DNF and really wanting to continue to basically offer up and share the things that I enjoy with people, I'm like, maybe I should just get into like some small collections of things that really catch my eye that I think people will also like.
So I'm going to, let me see if I can pull this up, send you the Instagram right here of a friend of mine, Adrian.
Okay.
That this may be a little too, what you may be talking about is simple, whereas what she's doing is kind of nuts. So this is what she does. And it makes me laugh because it's so intense what she does with fashion.
Oh, let's see. Oh, this is lovely.
Yeah. And it's so the funny thing in, okay, there is a photo of Joe, her husband. He could not be more low key. Like he's t-shirt, ripped up jeans, and then you look at her and everything is manicured within an inch of its life.
I love it.
Yeah. For anybody listening at home, it's my friend Adrian, the vintage Epicurean. But like she goes to, like, down here, there's so many like thrift stores and stuff that I think she finds all that stuff just around town, wherever she can find it.
So dope. Yeah. And see, that's one of those things that, like, it goes back to, how does it make you feel? When you saw that thing, how did it make you feel? Did you want it for yourself? Were you inspired? Were you intrigued? So I think tapping into that via fashion and clothing is huge, because in fashion also, like, I think fashion gets misassociated just as clothing, and it's not. It's about, like, it's really a lifestyle, it's about all the pieces of one's lifestyle. So,
well, I think about all the dumb stuff with me, like, now I can't pull it. Good Lord. Guy Ritchie. There's a director named Guy Ritchie. Do you know him? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch.
Yes.
The Sherlock Holmes. So he was on Rogan years ago, and he was wearing a suit and tie. And Rogan was kind of like, why are you wearing it? And he said something about he had a pocket square. Okay. And he was like, if you have a pocket square, you're wearing this because you want to. If you don't have a pocket square, you're wearing this because you have to. And I went and bought a bunch of pocket squares and better ties that match them.
There you go.
Because it made me think about that. I was like, yeah, anything to step up my shorts and a t-shirt.
There you go. And to just feel good. Like,
to
just feel good.
I went and bought a suit that is actually tailored.
Love it.
And walking into a party wearing that suit makes me feel like $1 million.
Right. Can't tell you shit. Can't tell you shit. And that's okay.
I'm going to walk in next time. And it's a 3-piece. So it has the vest. And the first time I walked in, one of my, so I wear shorts 365 a year because I'm so big. I'm just hot all the time.
Yeah,
and I can't tell you how many times I'll be in public and somebody, a woman, female friend of mine from across the road will go, I've never seen you in pants. When I'm wearing pants, I was like, I love hearing that. Because nobody else gets that context. They're just like, what the hell is going on? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
What color suit did you buy?
Gray.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Another thing, it's hard to find clothes in my size. So it was funny getting tailored because I was always like, I don't know how big my chest. It's 56. I'm a 56-inch chest. I was like, good Lord. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That's what the hell is wrong? And I just look at my dad and I'm like, it's all your fault.
I was going to say, tell me about your family, parents.
So the funny part, so my grandfather was 6'2" and he was born in 1917.
Oh, wow.
So he was a giant for his age.
Absolutely.
And then my dad has 2 brothers, and the youngest boy is the runt of the family at 6'1".
Wow.
And then his older brother is 6'2", and 6'2" to 6'3", and then my dad is 6'4". And all growing up, it was always Boy, you will never be bigger than me. Boy, you'll never be bigger than me. Boy, you may be bigger than me, but I can still whoop your ass. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There we go.
Yes, sir. So yeah, he was like, yeah. Once he started getting bigger, me at like 14 or 15, I was like, yeah. At 15, I was as big as my dad. It's like, yeah, it's wild. He was 6'4". He's a truck. So my family's the other end of the spectrum. Like my dad was a truck driver. My mom worked for the phone company, but dad was 6'4", 437 at one point, and then decided he couldn't do that anymore. And he got down to like 225.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's gone back up, but it's more of a healthy, like you're at 250, but you should be at 250.
I mean, that's a lot of weight to carry. Sheesh.
Yeah. And so yeah, every once in a while he'll point to me as like, this is my little one. And my mom loves introducing me that way. This is my little one. Oh, you mean the one I have to go like that to? Oh, okay, cool.
That's him.
The funniest was my grandmother was 5 foot, less than 100 pounds, and she was the most terrifying one of them all.
Wow.
He's like, no, she puts everybody in their place. We're all, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What do you need us to do? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Sharks are. That's what they do.
So going back to, so do you feel like by doing this, you're becoming kind of an ambassador for ethical products in the world?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Mainly because it really allows me to give people access to these products.
Okay.
Like I feel like, price point wise, like it was very important for me to have something that was accessible.
Right.
So yes, like my products aren't necessarily the cheapest, but they're in comparison to other luxury products.
Right.
And based on like what we put into what I put into these products.
Right. Right.
It really is about the investment of self, and well-being. So I do feel like coincidentally that has allowed me to kind of be like an ambassador and also an advocate for people to, invest in themselves and the products that they use and really care for themselves holistically.
Okay.
So I love that. I do.
So is on your goal list or your checklist list, trying to teach kids more about this? Like,
yes.
And talking about kind of the food deserts, that got me thinking about this, like letting kids know that this is a possibility.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I have many, but one of my mantras is you deserve good things. Like no matter what that looks like. So you deserve good experiences. You deserve good products. You deserve good information. You deserve access to good things. So for me, it's full circle and really about bridging those gaps. So,
right.
Basically eliminating those deserts, eliminating those barriers, eliminating those disparities to which, people didn't know, like, oh, I can buy this clean product versus the one that's poisoning me.
Right.
I can buy this product versus the one that triggers my asthma or, further complicates my health. Like, why would I do that? Because it has good scent, but it doesn't burn well. No thanks.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. So I think it's sacrificing, and it's like, you don't have to.
And it's like a candle. It's like, yeah, that one you bought is going to burn out in like 5 minutes. Yeah. Whereas this one will last. You're buying value too.
Yeah, I know. And it's so funny because at one point people were telling me like, yo, your candles almost last too long. And I'm like, that's a good problem. Like as a business owner, like I want you to be able to, have something of quality, but it's like, damn, all right. Yeah. I need you to come back and buy some more. But I would much rather you have that memory of my product than, have a half burned product that you can't burn anymore because the wick is out and the wax won't light. Like, no, thanks.
You need to say, no, what you need to buy all of them. So you can have a shelf and every night you can change out whichever one you want to do that night.
Variety. I got it. But yeah, so it's definitely bigger than, selling and the retailing. It's definitely about continuing to expose the brand and then, bridge people into the process and the company itself. So.
All right. And here we'll end on this. So we'll manifest this. I learned that term via this podcast too.
Wait, where's my incense?
Oh,
it's somewhere. It's over there somewhere.
I just knock on wood every time so do you have one person or 5 people that is like a dream? And it could be just somebody there in Cleveland, like somebody who's doing cool things that you want to work with, or it could be somebody huge. Are there people that in your mind you're like, I want to work with this person?
Ooh.
Other than Hannah, of course, because Hannah, yes.
My love. Shout out to Hannah. Shout out to Snakes and Aces.
Yeah, I hadn't commented on the shirt yet, but yes, I noticed the shirt.
Man, yes, there are definitely dream people that I would love to either work with or collaborate with or just have them experience DNF.
Nice.
It's been really cool that, like, to be honest, I've had a good mix of friends as far as customers and supporters and strangers. Like, so I'm here for that.
Okay.
One person that I really, really love just because of her approach and kind of how selfless she is when it comes to just like talking about her story and sharing her experience is Nina Westbrook, Russell Westbrook's wife. So I would love to get some products to Nina.
How simple am I that I'm like, I'm about to Google, oh, Russell Westbrook. Oh, I know him.
His wife. Yeah, she's pretty badass.
Okay.
I like her for a myriad of reasons. I think she's cool as far as fashion. She is a therapist, so there's a slight connection there.
Nice.
And I don't think she's like the most vulnerable person, but she's willing to show their family transparently. So I do like that too. So she would be cool to get some products to her, collaborate with on a collection. I would love that.
Yeah, he is currently playing on my Lakers, so. Yeah. We'll have to see if we can get him to come to Cleveland.
Yes, come on, Russell. Come on, Nina.
So I will say it's kind of funny because I do art and stuff. One of my goals for that, one of the other reasons I'm trying to get work off of me, knock on wood, and get paid. Get paid is number one. Get paid. But I want to do a series of like dream clients and almost like forcing manifestation of, hey, Oreo, notice me. I love I've ate enough Oreos to be the weight of my house. Like, let's make this happen, man.
There you go.
Mine are very simple. Mine are Oreo and Waffle House.
Okay. That's
well, and the Bears and the I got to be the basic dude, I guess. The Bears and yeah.
I'm trying to think. Product wise, I'm through a champagne girl. I'm a wine girl. Hannah and I are the women who love wine to a T. So I think even something like that would be dope too. I'm a big Moet Chandon girl.
Okay.
I'm a Bel Air girl too. I don't discriminate. If it's bubbly, if it's dry, I'm here for it. If it's red and dry, I'm here for it.
I will say I like red wine more than I like white wine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big white wine girl.
And it was
drinker.
Huh?
I don't know if you knew that. Fun fact. I'm a bourbon drinker. So there we go.
What do you like? Let's hear.
I love Angel's Envy.
Okay, that's quality. That's quality.
You can't go wrong with Woodford. I love Woodford. Okay. Jefferson's I can do.
Jefferson's I can't afford. Jefferson's is okay. So it's funny. Every Wednesday night we started this during the pandemic. A friend and his wife own a building, and we meet up on the deck. And there's only 6 or 7 of us guys. That all of them. Well, one of them like runs community television here in Knoxville.
Oh, nice.
One guy retired from a community television, and the rest own their own business. Like one guy makes maps, one guy makes furniture, like high-end artistic furniture.
Oh, how dope is that?
One makes guitar pedals, and then the main guy is a photographer. Sean Pointner. He's the guy with the cigar with the holder thing.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
But we've been meeting, and it's, some of those guys make a ton of money. And they keep bringing like bourbon, and I was like, cool. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. What was it? The Basil Hayden's 10-year or 12-year reserve. Sure. Here's some beer. Do you want some beer?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'll give you the thing that has blown my mind the most is there's a Japanese whiskey called Nica Coffee.
Yes. Coffee, yes.
It's ridiculous how good it is. It is good. And I got a rye from Texas that was
Okay.
very good. That one year at the end of the year, I treated myself to 2 bottles of liquor, and
There we go.
I'm trying to remember if I can. I'll send you a picture of what it is, but it is ridiculous. I bought 2 things, and like Whistle Pig 8-year and this, and it was way better than Whistle Pig.
Okay.
I was like, that's saying something right there. So, yeah, it's we have a distillery here in town, Postmodern Spirits, that they just a farm that raises bees came to them and said, "Can we have some barrels to store the honey in?" And they're like, "Yes, if we can have the barrels back when you're done." So then they age the whiskey in those barrels.
Well, how dope is that?
And it's not sweet.
Okay.
And
but
it's
you definitely taste the notes of it. Okay.
It almost tastes peaty, like scotch. It's kind of nuts.
Nice.
But it's also 90 proof, so it is super hot. And it's just like, good Lord, I don't usually get ice, but I need ice because
throw a little sphere in there for me.
yeah, I'm gonna burn here.
Wow.
Okay. So here's what we'll really end on. What's one thing in the next year you want to attain? And we're gonna make it happen.
Oof. I want shelf space in luxury stores. I really do. So I'm talking like I would love to be in Nordstrom. I would love to be on Saks shelves. Just getting some high-end retail space for sure.
Okay. That's a good goal. It seems like that's an attainable goal.
I think so. I get connected to the right folks and get those buyers some DNF products. So getting some shelf space.
To own your own business, you have to have a modicum of stubbornness.
Yes.
To not give up and just be like, this needs to happen. What I got to do to make this happen?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Flipping those no's into, okay, here's what we need to do to make this thing. So so that is a goal for sure. Okay.
Well, thank you for being on.
Thank you, Jody. It's been a pleasure. When you come back to Cleveland, we'll have to do melt.
Oh yeah. Have to do melt and do red wine at melt, which will be hilarious.
No red wine at melt. I will take for wine. I'm sorry, I can't compromise on that. But I will take you somewhere low key that you will enjoy.
That sounds good. All right.